What path might you take in your quest for total health?
Optimum health that encompasses mind, body, and spirit.
So join us now as we head to the frontiers of integrative health and well-being.
With Judy Brooks
Roy Walkenhorst
and Michelle Bernhardt, our Inner World Guide.
on Healing Quest. Thanks so much for joining us today for the first show in a new Healing Quest season, our 13th.
Wow. Well, this season we're focusing on the health of our brain, one of the miracles of the universe.
Our brains have up to 200 billion cells and about 100 trillion connections.
With our Inner World Guide, Michelle Bernhardt, we've consulted some of the top experts in the world on the cutting-edge research being done and what it could mean to us.
We'll also see how activities like music and dance can help our brains stay healthy. We'll learn the two surprising and simple ingredients our brains must have to stay healthy. And we'll sample a healthy food movement that's picking up steam across the U.S.
So let's get going. We have some great insights to share with you on our journey to better health, right here on Healing Quest.
Broadcast of this program made possible by
So True, makers of organic, fermented whole food nutrition. So True products are non-GMO, gluten and soy-free, and fermented to unlock the full potency of each ingredient. More information is available at sotrue.com. So True, whole food nutrition designed for your best self.
Prime, a daily dietary supplement designed to support cardiovascular health by boosting the production of nitric oxide. More information available at primeno.com.
Vital Choice Seafood, wild-caught seafood and whole food supplements rich in omega-3s. More information about our wild seafood and our sustainable practices is available at www.vitalchoice.com or at 800-608-4825. Processed foods make up an estimated 70%, that's 70% of the U.S. diet.
And since those foods are designed to sit on the shelf for a long time, they contain an estimated 5,000 additives.
Nutritionists have said for years that if we want healthier bodies and brains, we need to eat less processed foods and more fresh foods, and organic if possible.
Happily, we have some good news on that front because of what's being called the farm-to-table movement.
It's a movement that's gaining momentum across the country. Late June and 450 acres of walnuts and olives are ripening. A cornucopia of summer fruits and vegetables is filling out in their well-tended rows. Cause for any farmer to celebrate, but this is no typical summer picnic at Sierra Orchards and the Center for Land-Based Learning.
These are peaches wrapped in prosciutto. This is San Daniele prosciutto. Beets, tomatoes, stone fruit. This is feta. It was made by North Valley Farm, Deneen Ashcraft. It's a goat's milk feta. It's really, really amazing. Beets and turnips, and we've just seared off some crepinettes. And the endive is grown by Rich Collins here at Collins Ranch. So he, pretty tasty, huh? Mm-hmm. Then we have beans, black-eyed peas, some greens cooking over there on the grill along with the sausages. Yeah, this is blackberries and stone fruit, so it's apricots, peaches, nectarines, culottes. Same stone fruit that's found in the salad, but with the addition of the blackberries. And we macerated them in a sweetened balsamic vinegar with some herb, and then a little bit of salt. That's it.
I may just have found my way to the ultimate cookout, and Chef Michael Toohey hasn't even started talking about the main course.
It's going to be amazing.
Tonight.
It's going to be amazing.
Welcome to tonight's dinner. It's going to be a fabulous meal. Michael Toohey, who's now the executive chef with the Kings, is preparing it with his tremendous staff, of course.
Owner Craig McNamara and his Farm Center for Land-Based Learning have invited Chef Toohey to prepare the elaborate menu. Toohey is a rising star in cuisine and in the farm-to-table movement.
There's people that are arriving, so let's go ahead and start passing.
A small legion of the center's supporters are arriving to celebrate its graduating class of 60 new farmers. And the growing movement that's teaching us as consumers why it's worth making fresh, locally grown foods a healthy part of our daily diets. His farm is ideally located to champion that movement, the community of Winters, 30 miles west of Sacramento. Born into a noted political family, Craig McNamara traveled the world as a young man and learned farming and food in cultures where it's a central part of everyday life.
You know, I think people should eat what satisfies them. I really do. I would start with sustainable. Let's be well informed about sustainable. I'm 100% organic as a grower. And I'm organic because I believe in the 3 Ps, that I as a farmer do things that are well for the people who farm, for the planet that we farm in, that's the environmental side, and for the profit of the farmer.
While the McNamaras operate their farm and the Center for Land-Based Learning, he also serves as president of California's Board of Food and Agriculture and has strong convictions about the movement he helped ignite.
When we're eating healthy and fresh, we become passionate about what we eat, we become passionate about our health, and I think we support our society.
There's plenty of evidence of that passion in Chef Tui's makeshift kitchen.
Anything about this salad that you can speak to the health benefits of?
1,000%, you know? I mean, you have all kinds of nutrients from the fruit, good fiber. You have protein from the walnuts and the feta cheese. We've got the beets are just full of great nutrients, tomatoes, a lycopene, and all the beautiful things about tomatoes in season. You know, you got amino acid. There's nothing wrong with it.
Dozens of studies tell us many things affect nutrient levels in our food. When was it harvested? Was it ripe? How far was it transported? Was it processed? And how? Almost all agree that the loss of nutrients begins immediately after harvesting, and that transportation time adds to the problem. That processing of any kind is probably the most harmful to nutrients. That even refrigeration, while it may keep produce edible for a time, saps a hefty percentage of its nutrients. And that eating foods as soon after they're harvested as possible is the surest guarantee you're getting maximum nutritional benefit and taste.
Sweet!
Easy.
I love how a plan comes together, you know? You can get away with more things on a farm, right? Because it is a farm.
About 150 guests have arrived as Chef Tui greets many of them personally. The music plays. And the wine flows. It's local too.
Very local, as local as it gets. So if you drive south on Jefferson Boulevard, we say the first vineyard you see will be where this wine came from.
Everybody take a different platter, right? Yeah. Got it? Thanks.
This is peach wrapped in prosciutto, drizzled with balsamic.
No, wait, hold on. This is just delicious.
Much of what the guests will feast on came from a plot just 20 feet from the tables. The dinner honors young farmers like Brianna Roughton, a recent graduate of the Center's Farm Academy.
Over there's someone who's experimenting with Asian vegetables. And then beyond that, there are folks growing just a wide array of diversified vegetables to sell at a farmer's market or a restaurant or wholesale. I love being a farmer because I feel so productive. I can literally see the fruits of my labor every day. And not only that, I think I love doing something that nourishes people, that I can share really tangibly and physically with people.
Mary Kimball directs the center. She believes maintaining our access to fresh, healthy, local food depends on the passion of a new generation of farmers like Brianna.
The hard work and the business acumen and the marketing and having to deal with all of the crazy environmental issues, the drought that we have as farmers. And so for people to really appreciate where their food is coming from and to learn more about it, I'm so appreciative of that and thank them for that.
That's about as crispy and fatty. Beautiful.
Chef Tui is ready to deliver this night's masterpiece.
Got a natural break.
A porchetta and platters of French and Italian-style sausages, all from a plump, heritage bred hog raised organically just a few miles away.
It's gonna be a little warm, Judy. Tell me what you think. You're welcome.
I like it. It's a fact that these diners are enjoying their feast in one of the world's most productive agricultural regions, blessed by a mild climate and fertile soil. And it's true that Sacramento and its environs like to be referred to as the farm-to-fork capital of the U.S. But Craig McNamara believes everyone can share the healthy bounty of locally grown food.
It's already going across the nation, and it's not the two coasts. It's everywhere in between. It's in our Midwest, it's in our Northeast, it's in our Southwest, it's across the nation.
And that a backyard garden or even a tiny city plot can be a farm, and its owner a master chef with benefits.
Farm to fork, it's reversing the nature deficit order. It's trying to get us connected and reintroduced back to our farms, and just knowledgeable about what we eat.
It's encouraging to see farmers markets and backyard and urban gardens popping up all across the country.
It's also interesting to note a recent study from the University of California which showed that 90% of Americans could be fed by food grown within 100 miles of their homes. So those fresh options are really there.
And one other note in our story, you may remember Craig McNamara referring to Michael Toohey as the executive chef with the Kings.
Now those are the Sacramento Kings of the NBA. And Michael's making news because his concessions menu will be comprised entirely, he says, of healthy food grown within 100 miles of the new arena.
So now it will be up to the team to be as good as the food served at the arena.
Big challenge.
A massive health tsunami is headed our way, and it's not that far offshore.
The experts say that within 10 years, 1 in 25 of us will be living with a brain disease like ALS, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, or Huntington's.
They say confronting this tsunami is going to require not only scientific breakthroughs, but also a massive raising of public consciousness.
So our inner world guide, Michelle Bernhardt, has been exploring this challenge.
Thanks, guys. Brain diseases are an enormous health threat, not only to baby boomers, but also to men and women in their 30s and 40s. Valerie Estes is Research Director for Project ALS, an organization in the forefront of dealing with the tragedy of brain diseases. ALS stands for amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, and you may have heard of it as Lou Gehrig's disease because it struck down the New York Yankee star at the peak of his career. But for Valerie Estes, ALS has had a much more personal impact.
My sister Jennifer was diagnosed with ALS out of nowhere in 1997 at the age of 35.
ALS attacks the motor neurons in the brain and is usually fatal within 5 years.
I asked the neurologist, why? If we could transplant hearts and lungs, couldn't we also replace damaged motor neurons?
I was told that nothing could be done for me. Excuse me, I don't find that acceptable.
And so we started Project ALS with the idea that maybe we could put some really talented scientists together to try to figure out why ALS happens.
Funding that effort has attracted wide support, including help from an impressive list of celebrities, ranging from James Gandolfini and Matt Dillon to Kevin Spacey and George Clooney.
And I get a phone call about this benefit for ALS, and I said, what's ALS? And you guys told me that Jennifer had it, and that we were going to raise money to find a cure.
She has rallied the most amazing soldiers to stand behind her in this fight.
She's an old friend, a dear friend.
Nobody leaves tonight until some cash is coughed up, and I mean it.
We raised $800,000. Close to $1.5 million. $17 million.
$32 million.
I wasn't going to go down without a fight.
And remember the Ice Bucket Challenge? That was also Project ALS.
For me, it wasn't just because I knew Jennifer and loved her and thought she was fantastic. It was because, she was only a few years older than me, and it hit me so hard that this disease can strike anyone at any time.
My family was inspired to see if we could identify doctors and researchers around the world who might be willing to come together and work together much as a family to share data, to share expertise, to share complementary skills. And that's exactly what we set out to do with Project ALS.
Project ALS has been instrumental in fostering a collaborative scientific effort on an unprecedented scale with top researchers from places like Harvard, Columbia, Yale, and NYU. Esteban Mazzoni at NYU is an expert on cell biology.
Scientists sometimes work in a fragmented way. Probably it's not the most efficient way. And Project ALS identified few labs that have complementary skills. And they had the great idea that if we combine our efforts, we will make progress in a faster pace.
Project ALS, I think, has been instrumental in creating ALS in a dish for the purposes of studying human ALS. It's allowing us to see the human brain in action outside of the body. It's also allowing us to model disease based on a particular patient's own DNA.
Our specialty is to try to recreate in the lab certain type of cells that die in the neurodegenerative diseases that Valerie was mentioning. Every time that you have a symptom, it's because some neurons have died or they stop functioning well. Why these neurons die in neurodegenerative diseases, it's still a mystery.
We're trying to create models of ALS in a dish that will tell us why the eye muscles, for example, in ALS are resistant to ALS. Virtually every other muscle in the body is affected and paralyzed ultimately by ALS, but not the eyes. So at Project ALS, we felt that it would be important for scientists to help us understand what makes the eyes resistant.
Maybe there are different types of ALS, and now deconvoluting, breaking out that complexity and identifying the components might be a very powerful way to go forward.
But Valerie Estes and Esteban Mazzoni say going forward is going to require more than brilliant scientists working in labs like this. They're also seeking help from all of us.
You have concern for someone in your life, maybe yourself, but perhaps that extends to someone else. That simple act of caring should lead you to learn more about the issue of brain disease that's facing our world.
Engage your family, your friends. Educate yourself a little bit, not much. Just by doing that, it makes a difference because the change starts in yourself.
The first step toward healing is awareness. It's education. But this has to be a global conversation, and it starts with you.
This was one of the most touching and emotional interviews that I have ever done. I think partially because it's about love. It's also about the love of sisters, which is personal for me and touches my heart. But it's really about how the power of love can create miracles. Love activates our courage and strength so that we can move past any block and truly make a difference. The work being done by Project ALS is also expected to help in dealing with other brain diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and Huntington's. And remember Jennifer's question about neuron transplants? As a result of Project ALS, the first motor neuron transplants have been successfully done on mice. So this new effort to foster more collaboration between scientists is not only pivotal, but vital as well.
Thanks, Michelle. It sounds like Project ALS is really paying off.
Coming up next, we'll find out what could really pay off for us when it comes to nourishing our brain.
Feeding our brain is obviously essential to keeping it healthy, but how best to nourish it is not that simple.
So all this season on Healing Quest, we're going to bring you expert advice on that topic from Dr. Nicholas Gonzalez.
He made the concept of food as medicine the cornerstone of his practice in New York City.
And I must say, I was surprised when he told me about his view of the single most important thing he says we can all do to nourish our brains.
The single most important thing you can do for your brain, and probably the least promoted, is to drink enough water. And the reason why that's so important, most body cells are 75% water. Brain cells are 85% water. Most of us don't drink water. Most of us drink teas, coffee, herbal teas, which are actually diuretic. For every 10 ounces of coffee that you drink or 10 ounces of an energy drink, you actually lose 12 ounces of fluid. So the American craze with bottled and canned synthetic energy drinks and even herbal teas will cause you to lose water, And the first organ that's affected is the brain. What's enough water? 8 to 10 glasses a day, which very few of us do. And that's got to be plain water. Not coffee, not tea, not herbal tea, not juice. You want clean water. Yeah, mountain spring water is what we should all be drinking. Filtered water is second best. I personally use reverse osmosis.
Along with water, Dr. Gonzalez told me that nourishing our brain requires paying attention to the most commonly used seasoning in the American diet.
Physiologists have known this for 80 years. You need salt in order to transmit nerve impulses. Brain cannot work without salt. Salt has been demonized for the last 50 years. Wrong. Unfortunately, there are new studies out of conventional literature showing salt isn't the great enemy of mankind. It really doesn't cause high blood pressure. It really isn't a toxic poison. Remember, they worry about salt. Salt's an essential mineral. Of course, it should be a good quality salt. Mine salt, the salt from Utah, the pure salt, or I like Celtic or Celtic salt, however it's pronounced. It's got 80 different minerals in it. So real unrefined sea salt has 50 to 80 minerals in addition to sodium chloride. The purified salt that you get in the store in the supermarket has just been purified. And they also add aluminum to it because it makes it go through the machinery easier. And they add sugar to salt. The thinking of the industry is that people are so addicted to sugar that if you put sugar and salt, they'll use more salt. So no, it should not be the regular store brands. Get a good quality sea salt with all the minerals.
If you'd like to know more about the unrefined salt that Dr. Gonzalez recommends, we have the link for you at healingquest.tv.
And unfortunately, we need to add one other note to this story.
Shortly after we interviewed Dr. Gonzalez, he unexpectedly passed away.
Dr. Nicholas Gonzalez had a national following as a leading practitioner of the concept of food as medicine.
He certainly helped us understand that and helped us explain and share that concept with all of you.
In our interview, he had much more to say about how best to nourish our brain. We'll be bringing those comments to you in the weeks ahead, and we'll make them available on our website.
We know Dr. Gonzalez is deeply missed by many people around the country, and we're grateful that we're able to share with you some of his final insights. It's an amazing and sobering fact that much of the food we enjoy and many of the things we love most about nature, we owe to one tiny creature. And now we're going to present you with a little bit of a paradox because we think contemplating these creatures hard at work can actually help us relax and perhaps offer a little window to peace and clarity. Here's today's healing moment. For more about Louis Schwartzberg's nature photography and his moving art project, we have the link for you at our website, healingquest.tv.
And for more on the music of composers John Hoy and Karen Drucker, you'll find a link there as well.
And a big thank you to Jane Rivar and her team here at River Highlands Ranch in the beautiful foothills outside Grass Valley, California, where we're shooting this season.
Seems like you like it here.
I love it here.
Well, thanks to all of them, and thanks to all of you for watching.
That's our Healing Quest for now. Please remember you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
And join us next time, right here on Healing Quest.
On our next Healing Quest, virtual reality is making healing a reality in the hands of some high-tech innovators.
They're really solving very real human needs that expand beyond just the excitement of this new technology.
Speaking of fear, are we too afraid of food that comes to us the way nature made it?
This fanaticism that you got to kill all the germs in food, it's ridiculous.
See which pasteurized, sterilized, non-fat items to avoid in the supermarket.
Our natural chef Carla DeLangre cooks up a tasty breakfast the healthy way.
There you have it, bloomin' eggs.
And one well-known chef's surprising take on gluten. That and more on the next Healing Quest.
Broadcast of this program made possible by
So True, makers of organic, fermented whole food nutrition. So True products are non-GMO, gluten and soy-free, and fermented to unlock the full potency of each ingredient. More information is available at sotrue.com. So True, whole food nutrition designed for your best self.
Prime, a daily dietary supplement designed to support cardiovascular health by boosting the production of nitric oxide. More information available at primeno.com.
Vital Choice Seafood, wild-caught seafood and whole food supplements rich in omega-3s. More information about our wild seafood and our sustainable practices is available at www.vitalchoice.com or at 800-608-4825.
For more information on the stories in today's show and on upcoming Healing Quest live events, visit us at healingquest.tv.
To order a DVD of this episode of Healing Quest, call 877-544-4827 or write to the address on your screen.